Okay, so today I'm going to be showing you how to find the six trigonometric. We'll be finding the reciprocal trig ratios. Okay, so right here we have a right triangle, and it's telling us that we have to find all six all six trig ratios for angle A. So first of all, we got to know about the three basic trig ratios, which is sine, cosine, and tangent. Okay, so if you want to know how to find them out, first we got to find out the hypotenuse adjacent and the opposite sides of the triangle. So first of all, so we want to find the trig ratios for angle A. So to find the opposites, this is the opposite area, so we have to find the opposite of angle A, which would then go to this side. So this would be the opposite. Then to find the hypotenuse, it is the longest side, so we could just do this. From the 90-degree angle, we just go forward, and this would be the hypotenuse side. And whatever side is left over is adjacent. Okay, so now we know that 13 is our hypotenuse, 7 is our adjacent side, and 9 is our opposite. Okay, so an easy way of finding out of this is to use SOH, GA, TOE. So means, for the first letter, it means sine. So then the next two letters is O over H, which would basically be opposite over hypotenuse, which would be 9 over 13, because our hypotenuse is 13 and our opposite side is 9, so it'd be 9 over 13. For cosine, it's cos, so cosine, then A and H, so it would be adjacent and hypotenuse over hypotenuse. And so from this triangle, we know that 7 is our adjacent side, so 7 over our hypotenuse, which is 13. So cosine would be 7 over 13. For tangent, an easy way of memorizing it is to use TOA, which is the T stands for tangent, O and A stand for opposite and adjacent. So we do opposite over adjacent. And this would equal, so our opposite would be 9, since it states so in the right triangle. So 9 over our adjacent, which is 7. Okay, so now we know the three basic trig ratios. To find the reciprocal versions, we basically just use the opposite of it. So cosecant, which is the reciprocal trig ratio for sine, would just be the opposite of sine, which would be hypotenuse over opposite, which would equal 13 over 9. So this would be the reciprocal of sine. And then to find secant, which is the reciprocal of cosine, we do the opposite of cosine, which is hypotenuse over adjacent. So that would be 13 over 7 from our values that we have from our right triangle. Then for tangent, we'd have to do cotangent, which is the reciprocal of tangent. So the opposite of tangent would be adjacent over hypotenuse, which would be 7 over 9. So there we go. Now we know how to find the reciprocal trig ratios for a right triangle, which would basically just be secant, cosecant, secant, and cotangent. They're all just opposite of the basic trig ratios, which would be sine, cosine, and tangent. So cosecant would just be the numbers, the fraction flipped over. Secant would be the fraction flipped over for cosine. Cosecant would be the fraction flipped over from sine, and cotangent would be flipped over from cotangent would be flipped over from tangent. So basically, the reciprocal trig ratios are just the opposite. Thank you for listening to my presentation.